don't support the Chicago gangs. Okay? Don't support them. Despite the fact that all the conservatives are saying, it's an invasion. It's an invasion. Oh my God. All right. And I'm stating this because we all know by now that there's a Venezuelan gang that's in Chicago right now that are making their mark in history. The thing that's gotten my attention was that the conservatives are saying this is an invasion. They've gone back to that old crap, claiming that this is a problem and that we're all under attack and all this other garbage. When in actual, and the proof is the Chicago gangs who are making their complaints. Okay, so if you're a conservative, you're supporting these Chicago gangs because you don't like Biden and Harris and the policies that they've got, despite the fact that their policies is what the Republicans are using as an excuse to make a big mess. Okay? I've been stating this since 2021 when I first started this show. You know, Biden didn't tell anybody to bus migrants to sanctuary cities. Biden didn't tell anybody to put them on trains. Biden didn't tell anybody to fly them to sanctuary cities. You know, he had a guy named Alejandro Mayorkas that was setting up shops all across the border, all along the border, and my worthless Texas governor ignored him. Okay, so those gangs that are there in Chicago right now, my governor is responsible for. My governor is responsible for that. And instead of listening to anybody that wants justice, to get anybody and everybody that's involved with putting those migrants and the gangs and all that in sanctuary cities, you know, instead they're going with the old rhetoric that it's an invasion. Again, despite the fact that an invasion entails an army. Something that these gangs are not even the Venezuelan gangs. They've got combat weapons, sure. There's video of them walking around with combat weapons, but they're not really an army, much less a militia. Okay, the Wagner Group. Now that was a threat. The Wagner Group in the Ukraine. Okay, these are gangs. They're smaller in number by comparison to civilians. And their only rivals technically is anybody that is a gangster also, and the law. And all that Chicago has to do. You're telling me Chicago doesn't know how to battle gangs? Come on. You know? So if you're listening to conservatives who are saying, you know, we gotta help out these guys because they're being invaded by Venezuelan gangs. Well, there's a huge problem with that. That's just being more involved with the crimes that technically should be focused on my governor for aiding and abetting these gangsters into a sanctuary city. He did it. He moved them there. My governor did that. The bus company that he hired did that. Okay? It wasn't Biden. It wasn't Harris. And then to top it all off, in order to bring up the border, to bring up border security, you have to deport all of them, which is the most stupid maneuver ever. Because deport, that's what Trump did. And it turns out they were using tunnels. Deport. That is so stupid. You know, what is Trump going to do if he wins the election and everybody gets deported? You know, well, they're going to sail around like the way they used to. So deport. That's just dumb. And it's dumb because it's the only solution that conservatives want to hear. Okay? It's the only solution that conservatives want to believe is all that needs to be done. deport, and build a wall. What are you going to do after you're done? You're going to build the wall 10 feet higher? Well, Trump already did that, and that wall collapsed. The small portion that he did, it collapsed. You know, it's dumb. It's dumb to vote conservative. It's dumb to vote Republican because of this. Well, this one thing that we're going to do is the solution to everything clause or you know, the mentality. You know, there is no one-step solution. So sorry. The air is cool out here, but the humidity and everything, I mean, it'll just woof. But yeah, it's just dumb. You know, do not support the Chicago gangs. And I'm saying this again because of the simple fact that conservatives are using this as an excuse to hate Biden and Harris, you know, and it doesn't make any sense. You know, support the local. We got to do something. We got to deport, and all this other crap. And but that doesn't stop the Venezuelan gangs. You know, the Venezuelan gangs, they're already in the city. Gang units out of Chicago should be able to handle them. Just support the gang units of law enforcement. Okay? You telling me Chicago can't handle gangsters? Foreign gangsters to top it all off? Come on. Who are you trying to kid? And that's all the more reason why we shouldn't be supporting any conservative, especially with the ramblings that they're doing right now. You know, feel sorry for the Chicago gangsters. Okay? I want to remind everybody that this gangs and every gang sell drugs. They're the reason for all the fentanyl problems that we've got right now. It's not the immigrants, it's the gangs. You know? And as far as immigrant gangs are concerned, well, you got my governor to blame for that. You know, you don't have Biden to blame for this. You got my governor to blame for this, who didn't work with the government to set up facilities, holding facilities, checks, background checks. You know? You got my governor to blame for that. You don't got Biden to blame for this. Yeah, I mean, they're responsible for all the drugs on the streets. Gangs, foreign gangs, and Chicago gangs themselves, American gangs. They're responsible for illegal prostitution. They get a girlfriend. They dope her up. They put her ass up for sale. And if she's a single mom, there's the kids going up for sale. That's what gangs do. Even Chicago gangs that the conservatives want you to feel sorry for. They want you to feel sorry for them because of foreign gangs. Well, I got news for you guys. I'd like to remind you guys, gangs, foreign or not, do this kind of crap. They sell drugs. They sell ass. They sell children. They steal. They rob. They terrorize. They destroy public property, making it visually unwanting, and then later on, visually unused, technically, physically unused. Okay? Visually unwanted, physically unused, and that's their basis of clearing the area to sell more drugs or more people or stolen goods. We all know this. You know this. So what are you doing following the conservative bullcrap? Why are they doing that? Well, we know why. Because they want every Democrat out of the way, or anybody that they deem not on their side out of the way, so they can still have political power. And it's just stupid, because their idea of political power is to be oppressive to asylum seeker migrants and not support gang units out of law enforcement, but at the same time, look at only the money that people are paying for, which means even gangs that can afford to buy their way out of doing time, get to go free after paying a fine. We all know how this works. The corrupt cops all the way up to the judges, all the way up to the politicians. That's how they work. You know this. And this is the reason why I had to speak out right now. Common sense on common ground, guys. You know, when you see podcasters saying we got to support our Chicago gang, our American styled gangs because of the foreigner gangs, just so that way their politician can make it into the office. That's the first sign of corruption. Politicians that join this rhetoric and state this very same crap, they're making it that obvious that they're that corrupted. It's common sense law, common sense on common ground. We all know this. So everybody out there, pay real close attention to who's saying what. And anybody that speaks along this line, well, we now have a guideline at this particular level concerning gangs and foreigners and gangs and foreign gangs and and all this good stuff. And that's it. That's all that I have to say about that. I hope everybody's doing well. We're still in September, so it's going to be a while before we get to vote and finally vote out the douchebags like these conservatives who are saying foreign gangs are here. We have to show support to our American gangs and boot out these foreign gangs. Especially those that are still crying invasion. Every politician that's still saying invasion while we're not being invaded, definitely vote them out of office. So that's pretty much the long and the short of it. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. We're already starting to experience a drop in temperature down here in San Antonio, Texas. It's in the high 60s right now, and it's going to go up to the low 90s once the sun starts cooking all of us again. So it's looking like a decent fall. It's looking like we're going to have a decent fall. So I'm hoping so. And I hope everything's decent around where you guys are at also. Wherever you are. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.